Hey, what's happening, peeps? I appreciate y'all tuning in to today's episode. I think we got some dope content for y'all today. Before we get too deep in today's discussion, like, comment, share, subscribe, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. I appreciate all the feedback so far, good and bad. I think it's great. I want to be able to grow this channel and be able to provide value to you all. I think I have something that it's a passion of mine, but I think it could add some value to you all as well. And I say this all the time, man. You know, if you lit and I'm lit, then we lit. So let's stay lit, right? So we can all improve together, right? So let's continue to collaboration over competition is something I feel like is needed in today's world. And I think it's really needed as we try to develop careers as well. And so for today's discussion, we're going to talk about networking. What is it, right? You essentially have been networking your entire life. You don't even know it, right? How? I'll tell you. So you grew up in your neighborhood. You had friends in your neighborhood. You knew the families in your neighborhood. Somebody come down your block, just new to the neighborhood. They said, hey, man, I'm trying to get a haircut. I don't know how to get a haircut. But you know Chris up the street cuts hair. That's part of you being able to network. You know people who or have similar interests to you, something is similar to you. You grew up in the same neighborhood with Chris, right? But you also know a little bit about what Chris does. And so you're able to take this person, Chris, that you met, and this person that you just became in contact with and connect them, right? So think of a network as you essentially creating an ecosystem that of people that they may not have similar interests, at least initially, but they all have a similar interest to you, right? So you are very well connected. You think of it in terms of when you grow up in your hometown, you have friends in your hometown, you leave, you go to college, you have a whole new set of friends, right? These friends, they have common interests in these things. This group of friends has interest in these things, but they both connected to you because you have interest in both as well, right? They don't know each other, but they know you, right? So always keep in mind that networking is essentially just building an ecosystem of people that are connected to you somehow, some way. 6 degrees of separation, right? So think of it in that terms there. So essentially, you've been networking your entire life, whether you knew it or not. We're talking about for today's discussion, it's actually being intentional with your networking, right? From a career development perspective. And now talk about, some other things as well. When we talk about, some pros to networking, but the first thing that comes to mind is why should you be networking, right? And there's definitely several things that I feel like are really good points or really good benefits to networking there as well. And I'm going to dive into it as well. The first is, and I don't have these kind of in a particular order, but I just wanted to give them to you so you can kind of think about it, right? The first is career development. You building out a bigger network, a bigger ecosystem will give you a means to be able to have access to job opportunities that may not be available for you had you not made those connections, right? I think it's over 50% now people who get jobs, they get it because someone worked at the company, they knew someone at the company, or they got a referral, right? So when you think of that aspect of it, right, you building out this network of people that have similar interests to you will allow you to get access to information or job opportunities that you may not be aware of because you are not connected to those people, right? So, think of that as just like, if you want one takeaway, hey, why do I need to network? That's the number one reason I would say. I know I said I wasn't going to rank them, but that's probably the number one reason I would say from a networking aspect of it as well. The other piece is you'll sharpen your skills, right? So, a lot of companies have competitors, right? And so you may have a network or build a person, a contact or someone you're connected with that they do a similar thing that you're interested in or a similar job as you, but they're at a totally different company. And so the way that they kind of go about it is a little bit different than the way you go about it, right? Or way your organization that you're working for goes about it, right? And this could be individuals that may be in higher grades levels that you make in your network, or people that are in lower grades than what you're at as well. but it just gives you access to think about things a little bit differently. And because you can have conversations with those people, you're going to develop your skill set a lot quicker, right? Had you just stuck to just seeing it one way, right? So you're going to be more adaptable, have a variety of skill set. It's going to open your mind up to even think about things a little bit different that you can bring back to your current job and kind of have some success and stand out and give them another opinion as well. Because most of the time, companies love to get a second opinion or another idea as well. And so, being in those conversations, having those people that are in different areas or different companies there is going to allow you to get access to that information and help you, again, go back to number one, develop your career further there as well, right? So that's another good reason there. You share ideas, you take ideas, you have similar ideas, you can build people. If you have aspirations to go independent, right, you can kind of build out a network of people that you can kind of use in that aspect of it as well, right? People want to move into contractor work and they want to have contacts that they can kind of use to build out their own kind of career and business model as well. So that's just another thing to think about it in terms of networking, right? Another thing that people really don't talk about when it comes to networking is you build out new friends. Like, a lot of my friends that I call real close friends right now, beside my childhood and college friends, are people that I networked with, right? I worked at a company, or we met at an event and we just, had a conversation, hit it off as well. If you leave a job, if you're leaving one company and you don't want to burn the bridge, right? Like, you want to leave in a good standing, right? If it all means if possible there. So a lot of my old managers I'm still really, really in good contact with, or good friends with, or have good rapport with as well. So, I talk to them just to check on them and see how they're doing. They check on me and see how I'm doing as well. And so really, it's not even much as a career development situation as opposed to it is a friendship, right? Or a bond that we have, right? But, those other things are always going to be in a factor: career development, skill development, right? Trade ideas, those are always available. But now it's evolved into, because we've had those similarities, right? And we've stayed in communication with each other, we're essentially friends, right? We're close enough friends, and we have a good rapport with each other, and I wish them all success. Hopefully I'll be able to get, one or two of them to come on and speak a little bit as well in a later episode. But think of that. It's a really good option. Another good thing. I think it gets slept on. But you really build up you can build up a lot of good friends if you're networking, for career development as well. And it's not individuals that you grew up with. A lot of times we grew up in a certain neighborhood and we're so used to our friends having to be one way. This allows you to kind of expand your mind, right? And get exposed to people who just see it from a different vantage point, right? They may be in the same job as you, but they grew up in a different neighborhood. They grew up in a different part of the world. And so they just see the world different as well. And so, you can kind of get you a diverse group of friends. It's an easy way for you to make friends as well. And friends that as you evolve in career and statures, they'll be evolving hopefully as well with you as well. And you can kind of build each other up together as in that aspect of it as well. The last piece I want to touch on with terms of why you should be networking is mentorship. And, I think that is hugely slept on, right? And I mean in two folds. One, if you want to find a mentor, or you want to become a mentor, right? And let's talk about both of them, right? From a young professional perspective there as well, you networking is going to give you the ability to get in contact with some people who may be more tenured in the role or in the industry. They can help you, provide you some guidance to, one, help you advance your career, avoid some pitfalls, sharpen your skills, give you another opinion or another set of views on how you should be thinking about things as well, right? So networking can help you go back to that first career development, right? In terms of you being able to kind of speed up your process. A mentor is going to help you avoid pitfalls that they experienced and try to help you get to, whatever aspirational goals you have as well. And then the second part is that, right? Becoming a mentor, right? It helps you continue to be a student of the game, because you have someone who's going to be questioning you the why, right? Explain to me why, or why should I do it this way? Why should I do it? Why shouldn't I do it the way that they taught me, right? And so, if you're a mentor, it's going to help you keep your skills sharp, right? In terms of that aspect, and you won't get stale. A lot of people get kind of 5, 10, 15 years into their career and they feel like they have it down to a science. They know everything, the ins and outs of it. And so by you becoming a mentor, you're going to see what the generations behind you are thinking, how they're thinking it, why they're thinking it, what information they're being taught. And it's going to expose you to continue to keep your brain thinking, learning, looking at things from a different vantage point. So you're not thinking that, you've got the game mastered, there's nothing else for you to do. I think once you feel like you've mastered the game, there's nothing else you can improve or grow on, that can be kind of towards the demise for you as well. So you should always be trying to develop further your own development skills, whatever the case may be, career progression, if that's something as well. Even if you're in a career that you feel like, hey, this is where I want to stay long term, you still should be able to continue to sharpen your skills, right? There's something that you should be able to improve on, work on, and by kind of giving back, that's a situation where you're essentially continue to sharpen your skills, right? Because it's not about just do you learn it, do you know it? Then it's that last element, right? Can you teach it, right? And can you teach it to someone, and they digest it and be able to implement what you're doing as well? And so, those are really the whys in terms of why you should be mentoring, right? And I think, when we shift going forward, the next piece is just going to be the who, right? Who should be mentoring? Who should be networking, right? I think you all know the answer to this, right?